Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Money Matters Top Tips for Success. For each and every day, I bring on new business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives and have them share their top tips for success with you. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, moneymatterstoptips.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Todd Palmer on the line, and he's the founder and president over at Extraordinary Advisors. Todd, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me today.
So I'm excited to get more into what you're doing over at Extraordinary Advisors and how you're helping companies and CEOs and entrepreneurs. But before we do that, let's get a little bit further into your background. So how did you get started in business and as an entrepreneur?
Well, I guess the real answer to that question would be when I was about 12 years old, I started selling candy and gum and snacks at my school. I grew up in a real small town. And that was really my first foray into the world of entrepreneurship. I'd buy the product, the gum, the candy for 5-10 cents, and then I'd flip it for a quarter. I got called into the office by the principal saying I was taking advantage of my fellow students. And voila, I realized that I really had a thirst for fulfilling market demand within the school there, as well as I have no problem being a chaos creator and standing up to authority. So that's probably not the business you wanted to hear about, but that's how I got started. And then I started my main business, Diversified Industrial Staffing, when I was, 27 years old for a little under $15,000, and went through some highs, went through some lows, and eventually we got the business onto the Inc. 5000 of Michigan record 6 times.
That's awesome. I love it, and I love the story. You're like taking advantage. I was providing value. I was not taking advantage. What are you talking about? If I wasn't taking their money, I was selling them things. You didn't have the words back then, of course.
No, it's like, well, I said they want to buy the gum, and they don't have the gum, and I've got the gum. It wasn't like I was, selling illegal drugs. It was my first battle with the man.
Oh, that's funny. So obviously you've been, ups and downs and sideways, everything in between, a lot of years of entrepreneurship under your belt. If you were to go back and give that Todd that was just getting started some advice, what kind of things would you tell him?
Oh, first thing I would tell the young Todd was focus on margin, don't focus on revenue. I'd gotten into a really bad spot in 2006. I was $600,000 in debt. I was 60 days away from running out of all of my money, including losing my house. Walked in and fired my company and started all over because of the decisions I made, because I kept chasing the top line and not focusing on the bottom line.
Got it. No, great stuff there, and that's a great tip that many entrepreneurs need to hear. I love it. Let's switch it up a bit, Todd. I want to get more into what you're doing over at Extraordinary Advisors. So what kind of clients do you typically work with, and what kind of things are you helping them to achieve?
Well, the biggest thing I'm helping them to achieve is the same thing that I had the fortunate opportunity to run into back in 2006. When the business wasn't doing well, I took the last $2 I had and I hired a coach. And he helped me shift my mindset from scarcity into abundance. We put a lot of different processes in place. We tried a lot of different things to get out of that massive debt issue. And now I'm helping companies do the very similar thing. I work a lot with entrepreneurs, small business owners, usually I've got a couple of solopreneurs, believe it or not. And I've got a couple companies in the $10 million range that I work with, and helping these owners essentially get their personal act together, get their mindset right. Once we get their mindset right, it frees them up to get things done in their business. And I just recently got a great testimonial from a client. In the first year of working with me, his revenue grew over 70%, and his profits grew by a factor of 5x. But the most important thing he shared with me in the testimonial was he's loving his job more than ever before, because he's really doing it for the right reasons with complete and total alignment through the organization. So essentially, that's what I do.
That's awesome, and I can see how. First of all, I'm a huge fan of coaches and coaching and the process, because I've just, in my experience, I find that the people that use them over a longer period of times, they just do better. That's just been my personal experience with them. So, what do you think are some of the reasons why in my opinion, more people don't go down the coaching route. Is it just that they don't know it's available or they don't know the process? I'm just always curious about people that don't use coaches.
Well, I think the best place for me to speak from is why it took me so long to get a coach. And I really suffered from a thing called imposter syndrome. I thought I had to have all the answers all the time for every issue within my business. And for the first 9 years in my business, that basically worked pretty well. What I found, though, is because of the imposter syndrome, I was very reluctant to ask for help. I was very mistrusting of sharing some of the pain points I was having as an entrepreneur. And there was some shame and guilt attached to that. I was very reluctant to ask for help. And I think also there's this challenge with people who want to hire a coach and they interview coaches. And they find that a lot of people who do coaching are very well-meaning and they want to offer great value, but they've never actually walked the path of being an entrepreneur. And I've been an entrepreneur for nearly half my life. I guess I just mentioned I got in some really bad shape, but the other side of it is we got out of that bad shape and had some incredible successes. So with my clients, I find one of my biggest value differentiators is I've been an entrepreneur. I know what it's like to almost miss payroll. I know what it's like to be in debt, and I know what it's like to get out of that debt and have some great success. And a lot of coaches don't have that pedigree and that experience, and I think that makes it tough for people to hire a coach unless they've actually walked the path they want to lead you down.
That makes a lot of sense. So if somebody's listening to this and they want more information, Todd, what's the best way for them to get it?
Well, I think the best way for anybody to reach out to me is through my website, extraordinaryadvisors.com. Or you can check me out on Facebook or on Instagram. I'm on all the social media platforms. And what I suggest is anybody who checks me out and communicates with me through one of those portals, mention that you heard me today on Adam's show, and I'd be happy to give you 30 minutes of my time for free. And no hidden agenda, no golden handcuffs to tie you to a mothership. It's more of, for all the coaches and all the mentors I've had in my life, it's my way of saying thank you to them for all the good things they've done for me over the course of time. So this allows me not only to pay it back, but also pay it forward to anybody who might be listening right now.
That's awesome. Well, hey, Todd, I really appreciate you coming on the show and sharing more about your background and all the great work you're doing over at Extraordinary Advisors. And to the audience, as always, I hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review, do all those great things we do to support our podcasters. I really do appreciate it. And Todd, thanks again for coming on the show.